And I'd like to share with you one very interesting case study that happened to me last year. This happened last year. So I was in this forum about mental health, and I was one of the panelists, and we were discussing, and all of a sudden, one audience member screamed. Like, not like screaming like, ah, like really scream. It was a big call, but everybody can hear. It was a guy, very young guy, maybe in his early 20s, not too far from the back. He's probably like second or third row. He screamed out loud, right? And all of a sudden he was banging the floor. All of a sudden, like nobody knows what's happening. The panelists were stunned. We were stunned. We thought, this is a gimmick maybe that the organizer have, orchestrated. But then we think about it, well, that's kind of twisted life if you want to do that kind of gimmick. After a few seconds, we finally realized that no, this guy is really having a meltdown right then and there, a meltdown. And after some digging, it turned out that he had a family issue that he had been keeping inside for such a long time. And somehow, Allahu Alam, in that moment in time, in that forum about mental health, him sitting in that audience seat, somehow something that we said on stage triggered him to just let it out. He can't keep it in anymore. And I'm just illustrating this because I want all of us to understand that, you may see somebody scream out loud. You may think to yourself, orang gila ke apa ni? But if you just stop for a moment and listen to the story behind it, it's quite sad. Like, he told us that he's been struggling with his family, his mother not well, right? So he's been struggling to be the support beam for his family for such a long time. He's been keeping it in. Nobody's there to listen to his issues. So he had this fake smile, that he's like acting out. But then that night, that moment, he couldn't fake it anymore. He just let it out. And the moral of the story is that this is a human experience. You can't keep something that negative for such a long time. You need to express it. You need to talk to somebody. You need to reach out for help. And like Dr. Bibi said, there's hope. You can cure yourself from this difficulty, from this problem, if you treat it, early enough, and if you treat it well enough, properly, using the proper, procedure, proper knowledge, proper credentials and qualifications. And I just want to leave that case study up there just so that you understand that, it's like Transformers, the cartoon. It's more than meets the eye. You may see somebody smiling, but you don't know what goes on inside. Sometimes that person who's smiling cannot take it anymore and just let it out. But other times they just keep it in for years and years and years, and we have no idea until one day, na'uzubillah, something that we don't want to happen. So before that happens, hopefully we all can practice a little bit of empathy and listen around to the people around us, especially our loved one, and more importantly, ourselves. Again, we communicate with ourselves all the time so that we can prevent, hopefully an episode like this happening.